Okay, so welcome to Make a Splash with the Log Rolling Tournament. This is part of our, what I like to call somewhat weekly webinar series because we don't do them every Thursday, but we do them most Thursdays. And just as a little intro to the webinar series, this has been a really kind of one of those silver linings with the pandemic that we've found a format to reach out to our programs all across the country. I think that's been always one of my biggest hurdles as a small business based here in Minneapolis, and we work with people all across the country, and we want to, be supporting you and helping you, and we're always trying to figure out how to connect. So it's great that everyone is now used to this more online format, and we can share all of our log rolling knowledge with you. As just, again, quick intro for myself, my name is Abby Delaney. I'm the founder and president of Key Log Rolling, and we are on a mission to make log rolling an Olympic sport, and we're doing that through a portable synthetic, the first ever portable synthetic piece of equipment, the Key Log. So some of you already have key logs and have been log rolling for a long time. Some of you, this is brand new. So we'll try to get the right information to everyone. And as always, questions afterwards, feel free to email us, call me. We love to talk log rolling, so please don't hesitate to reach out. And now I'm going to introduce my amazing co-host for today, Sarah Barron, the founder of Blue Ox Log Rolling Club. Sarah is an amazing ambassador and an enthusiast of log rolling. She's also one of our best instructor trainers. So she leads workshops for Key Log Rolling. She is a amazing high school math teacher that has weathered the storm this year in just such a positive way. And I love seeing what she does with her log rolling. She's brought so many people into the sport of log rolling through her club. And Blue Ox Log Rolling is a lot of different things. It's a log rolling club. She also teaches through the high school or through the school district in the wintertime at the pool. In the summertime, she has a real super fun outdoor program. She does events, she does workshops, she does it all. So Sarah, I'll let you just maybe add to it and tell a little bit about how you got into log rolling and what you do with Blue Ox.
Wow. Well, thanks, Abby. Yeah. My name is Sarah Barron. As Abby mentioned, I'm the owner of Blue Ox Log Rolling. We are a club, so we have an adult league night that log roll with us on a regular basis. And then I also do lessons and provide kind of a club and a team environment for kids as well. In the wintertime, we're the Minnetonka High School log rolling team, first ever school sponsored log rolling team. And we host competitions about once a month throughout the school year. And then in the summer, I do, as Abby mentioned, many events like community festivals and fairs, brewery parties, street parties, things like that. And then even private events like birthday parties or reunions, things like that. I fell in love with log rolling at a young age. Just by watching it at the state fair, that would be my highlight every year when I went to the state fair as a kid. And I would always ask the log rollers, how do I get into this? Can I try this? And it was difficult to get into it because, the logs were difficult to transport. So there weren't very many log rolling clubs outside of a few specific areas like Hayward, Wisconsin, and a few others. So I couldn't get into it until the ripe old age of 34, when I found Abby's kind of demo at YMCA for her new business and this new log that she was promoting in the year 2016. And I brought my whole family, and that's when really I just knew like log rolling is going to be part of my life. I tried log rolling that first day in January of 2016.
She was a natural. She was very good. Also, that helped.
It's so much fun. It's just so fun. And I knew that, this would be a positive add to my life, and the, just a positive thing to share to other people. And sure enough, my day job as a teacher really allowed me to spread the love of log rolling with my students. And it's such a natural thing. I talk about log rolling and all my students want to try it. So that's what kind of led to creating a business, so that students could continue to log roll through the summer at my home in Victoria, Minnesota. So we're based out of Minnetonka, and then in the summer out of Victoria, Minnesota at the beach. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to Abby for making this sport more accessible to everybody and making this a big part of my life. I just love it. So thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll just jump into it. I think the biggest thing, or when you're considering starting a log rolling tournament, or creating one or introducing it to your community, I think it's helpful to think about what your goals and priorities are for doing that. So is this something where you kind of want to take your program to the next level? Maybe you offer beginner log rolling lessons and you have some open demos, but or open log rolling times, but you kind of want to step it up notch. Do you want to create an event around the tournament? Are you like trying to, bring people into your facility, or create an event around it with for example, a community event? Do you need to add some more excitement to an existing event? Like, for example, as Sarah said, a street festival, or, a community fair, or another sporting event. Even maybe it's at the minor league, or like the community baseball team like has other things going on, and you want to introduce log rolling there. So there's a lot of things that you can add a tournament to, or are you trying to draw in a new audience to your pool, and a tournament is something kind of intriguing, and what's that? Like, let's go check that out. So so thinking about what your priorities are will kind of help you figure out what type of tournament, or what type you would like to do, or what format you want that tournament to be. I think it's first helpful to just talk first exactly what a log rolling match is and what a log rolling tournament is, because people are so new to log rolling. I realize that this is a very old sport. It's been around for a long time, but it's still very new to people. So it's helpful just to kind of give everyone the quick basics. So a basic log rolling match is 2 people on 1 log, and you're each trying to be the last one on top. Specifically, the person with the last foot contact wins the fall. And I will explain what a fall is. A fall is basically a round in log rolling. So it's like the 2 people get on, you get steady, the official or you both decide, okay, we're ready, steady, match starts. And then you log roll, and whoever falls off first is the loser, whoever stays on, or whoever has last foot contact. So that would be the fall. You can either win the fall or you can lose the fall. It's kind of like one of those weird sport terminology things. So even though because you're both falling, so you either win it or you lose the fall. The rules are pretty simple. You can't step on or cross the center line. You cannot make intentional contact with your opponent. The matches are typically 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5 falls or rounds, as we said. And competitors could be facing opposite or same direction. So if they're facing, and it all depends on what your foot dominance is. So it's kind of like in surfing or skateboarding or snowboarding, that you have one foot that's kind of the dominant foot, and that's your outside foot. So if you have 2 people of the same foot dominance, they're going to be facing opposite directions. So that's like that top photo. That's called a bucking match. Or if you have a right-footed roller and a left-footed roller, they're going to be facing the same direction, and that's called a running match because they're running in step with each other. So that really, it's only like, it doesn't have any bearing on the format of the tournament or the match or anything. It's just a lot of times people ask, oh, well, like, can we face the same direction or the opposite direction? You just do whatever. It's like if you were to play someone in tennis, left-handed or right-handed, like you just do what you are, and then the match will either be bucking or running. There is in like an official log rolling match, there is a starting cadence. So, and there would be an official that would, both log rollers would get on top of the log, and we can talk about how that process works, getting on, but both log rollers get on top of the log. The official would say, ready, steady, time in. At that point, the match has started. And the way that the timing works is that there would be 1 minute, basically 1 minute on the clock. And if no one falls off within that 1 minute, within those 60 seconds, then you actually remove a training fin. So that's going to make it a little bit harder. And then you start the match over, or you continue the match. If someone does fall off, let's say at the 30-second point, then that one person is up 1-0, and they get back on, and the time starts over at 60 seconds. And the way that we do that with the training fins is because if the two competitors are falling off within that 60-second mark, that probably means that that's the appropriate number of trainers for them. But if they're both staying on longer than 1 minute, then they probably are a little bit more advanced and they need to remove one training fin, because you want to get to the point in the match where the falls are happening. You don't want two competitors to be on a log for like 5 minutes long, and you want to get to where the action is happening. So that's why that 60-second point is usually kind of that time at which, okay, they're ready to go to the next level. So if you have a match, let's say that one person, they start out with 3 training fins, they go out, one person falls in after 30 seconds, they go back out, and then the second fall, let's say that they do go the full 60 seconds, then you remove the training fin, and then you only have 2 training fins on. And the person that won that first fall, they keep that fall. So it's not like it starts over at 0 again. It's still 1-0. So they don't, it doesn't just start over at that point. So if anyone has questions at the end to clarify any of that, we can do that. And so then so that's how one just single match would work. But then the basic format of a tournament, there's a couple different ways, or several different ways, that you would be able to run a tournament. At a basic level, a log rolling tournament is, like a head-to-head bracket that could either be single elimination or double elimination. You could also, depending on the number of participants you have, do a round robin where everyone just rolls everyone and you tally up the scores, and the person that's won the most matches at the end of it wins the tournament. You can really get into the weeds on tournament formats a little bit with, for example, in our collegiate tournament series, we would do like pools of round robins, and then the winners of each pool would roll each other, and the second place people in each pool would roll each other. And you could also use those pools to like seed do a round robin, like a quick round robin, and then use the results to then seed those into a bracketed tournament. I guess I'll let Sarah interject here a little bit in terms of what are some of the formats that you've found have been successful with the tournaments that you've done.
Yes, this has been kind of a trial and error kind of for me. Sometimes we had like 7 or 8 or 9 people in a bracket, and we were trying to do round robin, and it was just like so much rolling. So we really like to keep it between 4 and 7 people per group. And then I love the round robin format instead of like a double elimination or single elimination or something, just because then everybody gets to roll everybody, and log rollers who are beginners learn so much from the more experienced log rollers, and it's a really fun kind of way to introduce everybody to everybody, and there's always things you can learn from all types of log rollers. So what I do when I get my registrations in is, I put them into age brackets, and then I just really look long and hard at like how many people are in each age bracket. And sometimes I kind of fudge the age brackets a little bit. Instead of a U7, I might do a U8 or a U6. just to really kind of get those numbers as, you know, even as possible.
Mhm.
Between 4 and 7 is a good number. And then I love, just to get people rolling as much as possible. You know, I love to, you know, have people, you know, practice a lot. I found that students and adults, experienced log rollers and beginners, can really improve a ton at tournaments, just be it by the sheer volume of all the rolling that they're doing. And yeah, and I can't emphasize the importance of a whiteboard enough. You know, kind of the thing that slows down these tournaments is when you're calling a log roller, like you're on deck, you know, and they're across the pool, and it's the acoustics in the pool or even outside is not ideal. So if you've got a whiteboard and then you just really tell those rollers, like, you're responsible for being on deck and being right there when you're rolling next, that really keeps things moving and it makes your job a lot easier. But yeah, I like to keep my tournaments to about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then it's really fun to have that championship kind of match at the end where everybody's kind of around, cheering on their favorite log roller. Is kind of a fun kind of climax at the end of the tournament. Is a good time. And then of course I got to add pizza and prizes. You know, if it's like a community tournament, you know, like you mentioned on the first slide, where everybody is just brand new to log rolling, you might want to hand out, you know, t-shirts and water bottles, something like that. But, you know, if this is your log rolling club and this is their sport, you know, we get kind of fancy with some, you know, very specific log rolling medals that they can hang in their room. I find that really motivates kids, especially. And they should have that real official, you know, I won first prize or first prize at this log rolling tournament, you know, just like you would with any other sport.
Yeah. Yeah. Sarah definitely taught us that you can get a lot of log rolling in a tournament. It was like the first time I helped out with a tournament with you, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to try to do all of these matches. And it was so much fun. And it was so well organized and you ran, I mean, it was kind of like crazy, but it was, everyone got a lot of log rolling in and it was super fun. And yeah, I agree. I think for the beginner tournaments, the round robin, because everyone then gets a lot of experience and they feel like they got a lot out of it. So, so I just wanted to go a little bit into different types, of tournaments at different like ability levels. And if you've been on some of the other webinars, you'll hear me say a lot that there's this continuum in log rolling programs from play to instruction to competition. And this also, so I know this seems a little bit like meta or something, but it's kind of plays out a little bit that this continuum is within a tournament itself, or like within the tournament formats themselves, where there's like more of just a playful type of tournament that's really informal and everyone's there to have fun, and it's not super competitive. And then there's, I would say more of like an instructional type of tournament. And that is maybe at the end of, let's say you have a log rolling, like a beginner log rolling class that was a 6-week class and everyone came for once a week. And in the final class, you're going to have a tournament. So that's more of that instruction one where you're really like almost teaching them how to compete and how to do a tournament. And then the final is the competition is where, you know, the people coming to the tournament really know how to compete. They've had experience, and they, you know, not that the stakes are higher, but there's like a little bit more of an expectation of the organization and rules of the tournament and how everything is run. So so that's kind of how we're going to go through the rest of this here.
One thing real quick. I was so surprised to learn that you can compete as a very beginner log roller. I think you told me that, right? You know, you were the first one, Abby. You were like, yeah, start competing now. And I was like, wait, what? So that's kind of important it will be, as you mentioned, a different type of competition for you if you're still learning and you're brand new beginner log roller. But please encourage your brand new beginner log rollers, even if this is their first time on a log, to jump into the competition. You can learn a lot and they can compete right away. So
yeah, no, that's really true. I think that's kind of inherently what log rolling, as much as it's fun to learn how to do the activity of log rolling, pretty soon after someone's tried it a couple times, then they're like, okay, I want to challenge you, or I want to compete against you. And that's really like log rolling at its core. So very quickly, beginners want to compete. And we have shown that you can do, these beginner, we kind of call them pop-up log rolling tourneys. These are great for those community events. If you're trying to have like an activity that not only engages the participants that are doing it, but also the people around that are at the event. So for example, at, let's say, like a community fair festival, or like our experiences here in Minnesota is with the state fair. So we'd have log rolling demos all day long. People would come and try it. And then we'd always say, okay, at 3:00 today, we're going to have a pop-up log rolling tournament. And the first 20 people that put their name in, we're going to draw up a bracket, and we're going to run we just did like a basic single elimination tournament. I know we just said that the round robins are great because you get everyone experience, but since this was kind of an event first time, we just wanted to give everyone a quick taste of it. And a single elimination is a really easy format. You don't have to worry about, all the different matches and the scoring and stuff. And it's just the winners keep moving forward. That type of beginner, kind of what I like to call pop-up tourney, is usually co-ed. It can be all ages. It's nice to have, like, if you're going to have an all ages thing, I actually would normally do like adults or like 16 plus, and then 15 and under or something, just because of the size of the adults. And then you don't want, you want the 6-year-olds to feel like that they're have a chance. Actually, the 6-year-olds probably beat the adults. But so have, maybe an adult and a youth division. And then you can also make these super quick. So like 2 out of 3 falls is great. That's like enough, just gives everyone a taste, keeps it simple, short and sweet, and you can move through it. And maybe you give the winner, like a free sign up to your program, or t-shirt, water bottles, those kind of really like easy things. It's fun to even pull in if it is sort of like a community event or festival, pull in some other businesses. Here in Minnesota, the whole brewery scene is really thriving. So they've really gotten on to a couple different clubs in the areas, and they love having the log rolling clubs set up their pool, and they do demos, and then they'll do like a pop-up log rolling tournament. And a lot of other sponsors then will donate, like a prize or something, and we'll put together like a prize package for the winner. And it could be, you could have these pop-up tournaments, you could have them free and just say the first, however much you have time for, whether it's 16 people or 20 people, or the first 20 people to sign up are in, or you could have them be, you have to pay $5 or $10 to put your throw your hat in the ring for the tournament. It's really kind of depends on, like, are you trying to raise money for something, or are you just trying to get people to give it a try? I would say that if you are doing it, another quick recommendation, if you're going to do a tournament as part of an event, don't do the tournament right at the end. You want it to be towards the end of the day or towards the end of the event, so that everyone has a chance to give it a try and stuff. But don't do it right at the end, because after people watch the tournament, inevitably they want to give it a try. They've seen everyone do it and they're like, oh shoot, I should have tried, or like, I want to do that. So leave some time at the end, because after the tournament, then it's really fun for people who are watching to be like, okay, I'm gonna jump into the pool and give it a try. And that just, again, creates more enthusiasm and momentum for your program, and gets more people involved. Just another quick thing here, we had at this quick pop-up tournament we just had a little sign that when people came out to do the demo, it was just a quick, like, this is what a log rolling competition is, these are the rules, and here you go. And that was all the information we needed to give them. I don't know, Sarah, if you have any stories or anything to say about some of the pop-up tourneys that you've done.
it's just really fun for me to watch adults try something new, and they just have a blast with it. I mean, when was the last time that adults have tried something brand new? So I love, breweries are one of my favorite places to log roll, because here we have, adults who are wanting to have fun and try something new. And so just to, kind of create this environment of, like it's safe to take a risk and have some fun. And so it's some of the more fun things to watch as an adult try something new.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll see if it's a hot summer day, you'll have, I love the log rolling tournaments where there's like, people, they're in jeans or they're in
Really.
dresses or they're like roll up their pants. And
exactly.
So.
And then log rolling is a really great photo opportunity, so there are tons of these photos on social media that are really fun.
So the next would be, a B or an intermediate log rolling tournament. And so this is kind of along that like instructional part of the continuum, where the participants have had some experience, but it could be really minimal. I know that, like, for example, one of the universities this fall, they had basically 2 log rolling workshops spread out at the beginning of the semester that people could come sign up for. And then the last workshop was actually then going to be a tournament. So people would come to the first 2 workshops, and then that kind of culminated at the end. The last one was that they ran through a tournament. And that's a nice way to, get people coming back, because again, the competition pulls people in, and it's something to, get excited about and train for and work towards. So even if you're doing, a beginner log rolling class, I would recommend, at the start of it saying, okay, and in our final class, we're going to have a tournament. And depending on, whether, however your class is set up, whether it's a family class, so it's all ages, or if you have like a, younger kids and an older kids class, then you can just kind of run through or have those be the different divisions for the tournament. And this can also be like the competitors can be the officials for themselves. And again, this is a great way to teach them how to run a tournament and to make the calls and stuff. So, even within the tournament, the competitors could, if there's 2 kids log rolling, and then the other 2 kids are maybe the ones that are saying, okay, ready, steady, time in. And, one of the kids can be on the stopwatch. And so it teaches them, how to run the tournament and gives them some ownership over it, which is kind of fun. And then, at the end, it's maybe everyone gets a certificate, or it doesn't have to be like a big, prize or anything, but it's nice. But it, again, like Sarah said, with the medals or something, it's fun to give them something at the end that they have done. So that would be how I would, run sort of an intermediate tournament. I don't know if, Sarah, if you've ever done anything like that with your classes or.
Yeah, no, we do exactly kind of what you mentioned there. We've got 4 one-day-a-week kind of sessions, or 4-week, one-day-a-week sessions. So 4 classes. And, the first class is just basic stance, right? Second class is teaching you how to kind of control the log a little bit more. And then that 4th class is a tournament, and we give everybody a certificate, and it works out great. People have a lot of fun, and then they go home and they sign up for the next session. So, because they want to kind of beat that person that beat them that time. They think they can do it with a little more practice. And and a tournament is just a great way to end the session.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you mentioned, I saw in one of your notes that you said that it's a great way to retain your participants are the tournaments, because I just think like within any, once kids get into an activity, they want to, everyone wants to kind of challenge themselves and see where they are. And so I think, the setting a goal for a tournament or, as part of your program is a great way to grow it, get more people involved, and again, retain the participants.
It's so motivating, whether you win or lose in the tournament or kind of where you fall. It doesn't matter where you fall. You're just so motivated to get better. So yeah, we found that it helps a lot with retention for sure.
So, and then finally, the last sort of tournament format would obviously be more of an advanced tournament, and this would, I would say, be where you have log rollers from different clubs or programs coming together to compete. And because log rolling still is a relatively small sport, you might have a wide range of of ability levels. So it's not necessarily that all of the log rollers are advanced, but it's just that the tournament itself is a little bit more of a formal tournament that's bringing in, some elite level log rollers. And when I say elite level, I like youth log rollers, but that are kind of at an elite, they're pretty into the sport and are very competitive with it. Um, but you might have, a new person in your club that this is their first tournament and they're not necessarily an advanced log roller, but they're wanting to get into it. Typically there would be, the divisions, breakdown, the way that they in general breakdown would be like a U7 co-ed, U10 boys and girls, U13 boys and girls, U16, and then adult, elite adult, and adult sport, and explain those real quick. But as Sarah mentioned, again, it is a small but growing sport. So sometimes you do have to combine either the genders into one, or you collapse age groups. But then I always do like to award the divisions based on how you did in your specific division. So if you're going to have a U7, U10, U13, U16, still give out the medals for each, but a U13 roller might be rolling in U16 and maybe they get second place, but they're the first U13. So, it's nice for them to know that they were the best U13 roller. For the adults, there's a really great group of, now with the key log, because adults are able to learn log rolling later in life and get good at it. There's a growing division we call it adult sport. And it's basically people who have learned how to log roll after the age of 18, or they're kind of adult novices. They're not competing, at the elite level in log rolling, but they like to go to tournaments and they're getting into it. And so that group is for them. And it first started out as a co-ed division, and now that we have so many adult sport rollers, we actually do now break it down into men's and women, which is pretty fun. But again, some tournaments, you might collapse them into both. So, and then for this type of tournament, I definitely would do 3 out of 5 falls for the matches. 2 out of log rolling can be so quick sometimes, and 2 out of 3 just feels super fast, especially for more like advanced log rollers. In terms of the volunteer effort that you need for something like this, well, maybe I'll Sarah, why don't this would be interesting for you to talk about, like how you manage your volunteers and how many people you need and that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
I love to have one log for each of my brackets. So I might have 5 different brackets, so 5 different competition logs running. And I also like to have a log or two for warm-ups or practice, or that are just non-competition logs. So I like to have maybe 4 or 5 competition logs, and then I like to have a timer for each of those. So that's 5 timers, and then a judge for each of those, and then maybe just like a holder. Sometimes especially for those adults, it's nice to have 2 log holders. So one can be the head judge and one can be just a holder. It's possible, of course, if you're running short on volunteers, to have the adults hold the logs for themselves. I don't like to do that as much, but so it's nice to have 3 volunteers per log. So it's like 15 volunteers. And then it's good to have an MC to kind of be on the mic and engage the audience and kind of explain what's happening and introduce the log rollers. A lot of these audience members are grandparents or neighbors, and they might not be familiar with log rolling, and a little bit of explanation goes a long way to kind of get them up to speed about what's happening. So, we're at 5 logs, 3 volunteers. So that's 15 plus the MC. And then I like a scorekeeper or two. The way I run my tournaments is if a log roller wins the match, then it's their responsibility to go tell the scorekeeper at the whiteboard to circle their name and tell them the score. Did you win 3 falls to 2 or 3 falls to 0? And so, yeah, you're up to, at least 15 to 20 volunteers for a big tournament like this. And once you do that, and once everybody knows their job description, then the tournament can be so smooth and so easy and so quick, and it works out really well. It's when people don't know what they're supposed to be doing that, you can kind of run around with your head cut off, like trying to, explain to everybody what they're doing. And I've definitely been there, but now I've learned, like, send out the job descriptions a couple days before, everybody reads what they're supposed to be doing, and then it can go really, really smoothly and be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And they don't have to have a ton of experience with log rolling. They don't need to know how to log roll. So it can be parents, grandparents, older siblings. And I do think that, as the sport progresses, or it's hard with the younger kids, but like I always remember, I actually played squash in college and tennis, and I remember we had to score ourselves, or like other teammates would, both teammates, a teammate from each team would sit there. So I think eventually it would be great to get into a situation where there is potentially a self-scoring type of thing. So if anyone has ideas about that, feel free to let us know, because it is a lot of it can be a lot of volunteers, but the volunteers love it. It's super fun for them. And usually, it's again, like a parent or, that they're there, like people are, or it's, again, like could be, you could have the adult sport, or if you have elites at your tournament, they could help with the kids. Or again, the adults can potentially do some self officiating and self scoring as well.
Definitely. I usually put everybody to work.
Yeah. And having a little, powwow at the beginning, group with all of the officials, again, to let them know what their roles are and remind them of the rules. Because again, this is kind of a learning experience for everyone, especially for the first couple of times. That really helps kind of just the organization of it all. Let's see, is there anything else with the advanced tournament? I mean, I know there's a lot with the advanced tournaments, and I guess that's maybe a good segue into the United States Aquatics Log Rolling Organization, which is a somewhat formed organization that we are working on to help govern the sport with rules and ranking, and supporting new programs that are starting that want to put on tournaments. So I will admit that the pandemic sort of put this on hold for a little bit, but know that there is sort of a grassroots organization forming that will be a resource for you in terms of how to put on a tournament, getting resources like brackets and rule books and handouts, and how to train your officials and how to train your volunteers, and really more of a member-driven organization that will move us forward on our mission to make log rolling an Olympic sport. Which is pretty exciting. So more coming soon, and we'll be letting everyone know, once that kind of gets back up and going, once we've all returned to a little bit more normal life with more log rolling tournaments and in our post-pandemic world. So lastly, I just wanted I have some images of tournaments that I'm just going to kind of slide through and comment on. I know Sarah mentioned, the medals, and she always does a great job of making really fun medals. And, I guess maybe I'll let you say how. I mean, it's pretty simple. You can get some medals, get some little stickers made and put them on the stickers, and you can make a cool medal.
Yeah, I mean, there are even companies that make these log rolling medals now. And then we get them engraved in the back with the date and of course the tournament name and, first prize U7 or whatever, first place U7 or whatever they got. I just think, this is such a great motivator for kids. They're like $2.20 each and they go a long way. And these kids deserve it. I mean, this is their sport. They spend a lot of time working on log rolling and, they should get kind of those pride points that you would get with other sports. So yeah, they're super important. I mean, I've seen these at college graduations now, where they're like, or not college graduations, sorry, high school graduations, where they're like displaying all their log rolling medals and stuff like that. So it makes a big difference in these kids' lives. And I love to reward them for their hard work. I mean, it's a lot of work to get this good and they deserve it. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I do those certificates for every single 4-class session that I hold. So those certificates I just hand out like at the end of every single session. And you'd be surprised at how much even those little certificates mean to kids. So I would highly recommend, just getting a color printer and making those happen every single time as often as you can.
Yeah, that's great. You can also have some fun with like t-shirts or logos for your, I mean, that again gets a little bit more advanced, but log rolling is such a unique thing and sport that is on the up and up, and people are now more aware of it. So wearing a log rolling t-shirt, sporting your your new favorite sport with that t-shirt is fun for people, and it is a good way to, again, for your program, if you're trying to get the word out there for things, and if it could be part of the registration so you can cover your costs. I have the same t-shirt on underneath.
I love it. I wear my log rolling t-shirts to work all the time.
I probably have baby spit up on mine though, which is why I put this on.
There's a little bit of coffee right here.
But so that's a great way. I mean, if it's a cool t-shirt, people wear it and then it's like, hey, where did you do that? And then, oh, I took a log rolling class at this at my Park and Rec, and you should sign up. So again, let them do the advertising for you. That's a great way to do that. This is just an image as an example of the State Fair pop-up tournament. I don't think any of these kids had ever tried log rolling before. And if they had, it had only been the year previously at the State Fair. So again, the whiteboard, and I think we had like a bracket of 16, but maybe there were 8 kids showed up and we did the tournament. And as you can see, it's different ages, and it was super fun for them. Just another couple pictures of kind of intermediate or more like advanced log rolling. You'll see some kids are wearing shoes, some not. The more as you get more into the sport, you might find, and you're staying on longer, that you want shoes for more traction. But some of the kids that maybe it's their first tournament, they haven't worn shoes yet, or they do barefoot log rolling, so that's fine. They can go together and works out great. Everyone has fun. Let's see. These are some volunteer competitor scorekeepers here. Sometimes having a little, if you're kind of across the pool and you are trying to see like what the fall count is for the different matches, you can get these little flip cards that sometimes are helpful. Sometimes if it's an outdoor tournament and the wind is blowing, they're not super helpful. So, but in the pool, they can be helpful.
We're always doing like trying to
hold your hands up, or like hold up a scorecard or something. And this last, I just wanted to show these last final pictures, just because you can kind of see this is like a more kind of beginner, intermediate, collegiate tournament. All these students learned how to log roll in college as adults essentially, but you can see just like the action in the match, and then I love like the image with their faces and everyone just like can't believe it, and then the celebration at the end just shows that, again, beginners can compete and they take it seriously, and there is the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, even as a beginner log roller. So I guess, well, let's open it up for questions. If you want to, if you can put in your questions in the Q&A, then we can see them and we'll just go through them. Let me just pull
can
up.
I just say kind of
Yeah.
one final thing? I think everybody watching this should just go for it. Like, just, schedule a tournament, advertise it, start kind of recruiting your volunteers, and, see what you get. You'll get some people to sign up, and you'll realize that it's tons of fun. It's a shot of caffeine to your, it's very invigorating and exciting for your program. And then it'll be, once you kind of get that first one under your belt, and, then you'll do the second one, and then you'll kind of get into the rhythm of it. And you'll find that it does promote your program kind of on its own, and it's way more fun than the work that you put into it, and it's rewarding. So I just kind of wanted to say, like, give it a try.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So we just have a couple of questions. Is there a team format? Yes, log rolling is an individual sport, but you can have a team component to it. That is something that I would say USA Log Rolling is also working on. Like, what exactly does that team look like? A team format look like? It's in terms of like with colleges, obviously that's a little bit easier because you have like really specific teams, whereas if you're just hosting like an individual like community log rolling tournament, you might have some sort of affiliation with clubs, but you might not have the same amount of U10 rollers at each club, or boys or girls. So usually when you go to a tournament, you have kind of your club affiliation, but you might be rolling against someone in your club. And but there are ways that you could come up with, scoring, like, okay, how many first place, what is awarding points for each place, and then basically tallying that up and then awarding the different clubs places. You can also have like a team format in terms of, like, I would say this would work well if you were doing a log rolling clinic or an instructional class where you actually had a team format. We do this with some of our workshops where you have 2 teams, and then you have like 3 different log rolling challenges. And then each team goes through that challenge, and each challenge is like worth a point. And then that can make it more of like a team building activity. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, Sarah, or.
We want to do this so bad. We kind of claim that we're Minneapolis Log Rolling Club's biggest competition, and so we always kind of go in there thinking, well, yeah, Blue X Log Rolling, we're a team, and then we haven't figured out how to score it. So this is kind of my.
Let's do it. We're gonna do it. We're
this is my number one goal right now.
We have some ideas. Okay, we'll figure it out and we'll get back to everyone on that. So another question, do you have samples of brackets with different options of types of tournaments? Yes, we do have sample brackets, and that first I just have them. You can email me and I'll send them to you, but they are also on our USA Log Rolling website, which probably needs to be updated. But we do have different like downloadable brackets, and also like round robin forms. There's also pretty easy, even on like Google Docs, where you can fill in who all your competitors are, and it'll plug it into a round robin. So you have actually a round robin score sheet that you can print out. And then so it makes it easier at the end to tally up all of the wins. But yes, we do have different brackets available. Let's see.
And get those set ahead of time. Like, have a deadline for your competitors to sign up that's at least a few days ahead of your tournament, and then get those brackets all worked out at least the day before or so.
that could probably be like a whole other webinar, is
Yeah.
just like marketing your tournament and the registration and all that kind of stuff. But again, you can keep it pretty basic as well. It is, yeah, that's a good point. It's helpful to have people register beforehand. However, and Sarah, you're great about this as well, is that like, I hate to turn people away. So if you're able to, pencil in another person into the bracket that shows up last minute, we're trying to bring as many people into the sport as possible. So I don't usually hold like super hard and fast rules about registration.
Right. No,
But as
definitely
many
adding
people as you can
people.
get beforehand, because then it does make it easier to put all the brackets together before and have those ready to go. So you don't have to do too much day of maneuvering.
Right.
Um, we have a question about insurance and liability. So this would just be, I think that if you need some specific like insurance groups that have, insured like 1 day tournaments or log rolling clubs, I can definitely put you in touch with them. But it pretty much just falls right under any other of your activities in your pool. And that's also something that USA Log Rolling is going to be working on, is offering like tournament insurance. And so that all of, the members everyone's covered that way as well. So it's a good question. Thankfully, log rolling is a very safe sport, and I've never seen a serious injury at a competition before. So knock on wood. But
Yeah. My insurance company knew that log rolling was a very safe sport, and so we didn't have any problems getting insurance.
okay, cool. Well, that was the last question. So a really fun note to end on, insurance.
Important
But
though.
thank you, Sarah, for joining. I'm sure you guys will see Sarah on a few other future webinars, so stay tuned. And I hope you all have a great summer. And again, just please don't hesitate to reach out with any of your log rolling questions. So we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.